And I'm going to go back to energy and climate change. Now, we really underestimate the changes that are coming with renewable energy. In fact, back in 2016, the Department of Energy in the US had a 10-year prediction error of 4,800% on solar capacity. I imagine on that day someone lost their job in the Department of Energy. But they also screwed up about wind and solar, actual wind capacity on its own. You know, you're out by hundreds of percent. So the change is coming, and it's coming quicker than anyone can expect. And it's being driven by a lot of different people. Even administrations, like, say, down in America, that are trying to halt this, they can't. It's a juggernaut. And when you look at some of the stats and you realize that only 2% of the Earth's wind capacity needs to be captured to power the entire Earth, you understand what we can do with this, right? If we can build enough, wind turbines, we could potentially power the Earth. And then solar panels, and then hydro. We're really lucky where we live with hydro, right? And what's interesting now is people like the World Bank is saying that they'll no longer invest in fossil fuels-based exploration after 2019. It's over. The world of fossil fuels, oil and gas, is over. And it leads us to this world. This is a vision of what the world could look like if you've got unlimited renewable energy networks that cross boundaries, that can power the world in a way that's around sharing of energy, right? Unlimited energy, where all of us as individuals have even got homes that have got our own solar panels that are feeding back into the grid. It's completely decentralized power grids in the world. And we've got an ability to power the world in a way that's cheap and affordable. And that helps move the world forward a lot more quickly. But there's some really radical thinking. Coming back to the idea of radical creativity, I've got this idea, let me learn from you, let me do that. This is actually, this is an evaporation engine from Columbia University. This uses literally sticky tape and plastic and spores to harness evaporation from a water source. So the world's covered by about 71% water. Imagine if we could capture a percentage of that evaporation, and we could power electricity that way. This is only on a small scale. They can actually do it so it powers a light bulb right now. But as we know with all technologies, over time, these ideas will feed into something else. But, suddenly we can have evaporation machines. That's a whole new discipline. That's interesting. This is in Jian in China. They realized that they had a terrible smog problem. And they realized that, if we can clean rooms air, using the air filters, why don't we just build a massive one for the city? So that's exactly what they did. So in Jian, they've got this. It's about 150 meters high, and it cleans the city's air, and it does a pretty good job of it. It drags the bad smoke and CO2 out of the air. That's pretty cool, huh? This is in Iceland. This is a company called Climbworks. This actually draws CO2 out of the air and turns it into rock. It does it on a small scale. Now, these last two are really important because even with all the changes that we make as part of the Paris Accord and that agreement, it's not enough to save the Earth. We have to draw CO2 out of the Earth's atmosphere. We have to. So there's a huge amount of energy being put into this, excuse the pun. But this is going to be the future, dragging CO2 out of the air. And then it gets a bit funky. So this is Mount Pinatubo. In 1991, it erupted. It put 27 million tons of sulfur dioxide into the air. It was so much that it filled the atmosphere in part, and it reduced the temperature of the Earth by 1 degree for 2 years. So scientists thought, here's a radical idea. Why don't we spray aerosols that are safe into the atmosphere to help lower the temperature? Now, a good friend of mine calls messing with nature like a dance. You can't just go to a certain part of the world and cool down the air in a certain part of the world without expecting that typhoons and other things are going to be created in other parts of the world. There's going to be massive biosphere disruption. There could be. But this is what people are trying now. We're kind of at that point. If we don't make these changes in the next 3 or 4 decades, we're going to be screwed as a human race, right?